Hello! Welcome to Gospel in Action. In this video, we will learn about the origins of the mother of all mystical religions, the Hindu religion, or commonly referred to as Hinduism. As most of you know, I was born in this religion. How I came out of it and became a follower of our true Creator was shared in detail in my testimony. The link to it can be found in the description below. This is not going to be done in one video. I will hence make several videos to unbiasedly cover almost all important details that you all need to know about Hinduism. I'm going to be very considerate and try not to be offensive in any way possible. I know that it is not going to be easy. So without wasting much time, let us dive into the video. If you are a first-time visitor, then I request you to please hit that like button to support us with this mission. If the videos are helpful, please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to not miss another video. Note that the subscription is free. Now, the first question one must ask is, who are these Hindus? Where did they come from? How did Hindus become Indians? And how are they related to the first family after the flood, that is to Noah's family? After the first judgment of God, we have learned that there was the second judgment where God confused the language of the people of the world, that is the people of Babel, and scattered them across the whole earth. We have learned that some settled in Babel itself, but they were called the Babylonians after the flood. Some settled and flourished in Sumeria. Some more settled in Egypt, and some others settled in Greece, and so on. So now, after this big diaspora, due to the judgment of God, several other migrations took place to other parts of the world, that is, away from the center of the world. I have mentioned that the major migrations were the ancient Chinese civilization to the far east and the ancient Lithuanian civilization to the far west. In fact, no one reached the Americas or the Australias yet, as they were divided by huge water bodies of the Atlantic and the Pacific, respectively. I'm sure that they did not have the technology to cross huge oceans back then. Anyway, apart from the far east and the far west migrations, a group of people left the Sumerian civilization several years later, along with the knowledge they gained over the years, and settled in the Near East. They settled around the banks of the Indus River, and they called themselves the Aryans. Their civilization was hence named the famous Aryan civilization. We know that the Sumerian civilization was the first civilization outside of the Babylonian civilization. Sumerians are very intelligent and built a sophisticated society in those days. The amount of wisdom they had was unmatched in the rest of the world in those days. So these Aryan people were none other than some of those Sumerian people who migrated to the Indian subcontinent. So, do you know why these former Sumerians called themselves Aryans? The word Aryan is derived from the word Arya, which means noble, superior, highborn, or highly knowledgeable in Sanskrit. So, Aryans as a whole would mean that they are the special people who are noble, who are superior, who are highborn, and who are highly knowledgeable in their scriptures, the Vedas. It is a matter of pride for them, and they wanted to have their own unique identity. Did you notice one thing here? They were once again doing the very same thing that God did not want them to do. That is to make a name for themselves. Anyway, the Aryans, as I mentioned, also had their own specific language. Sanskrit is the name of that language. We shall learn about it a little later in this video. Now, who really are these Aryans? And how are they connected to the first family, that is of Noah's family, right? These Aryans can be traced back to some of Noah's descendants. Yes, in fact, Aryans are the descendants of Eber through Jochtan. Eber, we know, is the great-grandson of Noah's son, Shem. We have also seen the following verse in one of the earlier videos. Let us look at it again. Genesis chapter 10 and verse 25. To Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Jochtan. So now the sons of Jochtan were Almodad, Shelef, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzel, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab, according to Genesis chapter 10, verses 26 through 29. All these sons of Jochtan originally settled in the Arabian Peninsula. These were originally the people of the Great Sumeria. They were also known as Sumers or Sumerians. They had their own language and their own religion. They had a rich culture and a great history. Most of the Sumerian history was recorded in the Arab history books. So, according to Arab records, the descendants of 11 out of these 13 sons of Jochtan migrated over to India. So, this was what we know until now. This was all written solidly in the Arab history. Now, unfortunately, we do not have any history records to prove that the Aryans were actually former Sumerians. But we know that according to the Bible and the ancient Jewish culture, the name of one of the provinces of India was called Ophir. And Ophir was one of the sons of Jochtan, as we have seen earlier. We do have substantial evidence for that fact that the ancient name of one of the provinces of India was indeed Ophir. In fact, a Jewish historian from about 2000 years ago writes like this about this land. Solomon gave this command that they should go along with his own stewards to the land that was of old called Ophir. But now the Arya Chersonsus, which belongs to India, to fetch him gold. Arya Chersonsus literally means the Golden Peninsula in Latin. So this historian was referring to the land of Ophir, which belongs to India, as the Golden Peninsula of India. This land, Ophir, could be the modern day state of Gujarat in India. Some other sources say that it could be the modern day Philippines, as it was a part of the ancient Indian Empire back in the day. Even to this day, we see many Indian cultural and religious influences in Philippines. Anyway, according to my humble opinion, Ophir could be Gujarat, only because of its close proximity to the Arabian Peninsula and because of its relatively easy accessibility through ships. Anyway, this Indian land of Ophir was very famous for its gold back in the day. The Bible tells us that Solomon was the richest man in the whole world with incredible wealth. No wonder his eyes were on the land of Ophir belonging to India for its gold. According to the Bible, Ophir was the source of the famed port of the famous gold of Ophir. This was mentioned in the following verses in the Bible. 1 Kings chapter 9 verse 28, 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 11, 1 Kings chapter 22 verse 48, and in the book of Job, Job chapter 22 verse 24, Job chapter 28 verse 16, and Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 12. To add more proof to it, we also know that the Coptic name for India's unique Golden Peninsula was Sophir. Again, who are the Copts? The Copts are the people who are the last generation of ancient Egypt. They have a specific language called the Coptic language. In their language, this Indian land was referred to as Sophir. We can still find it being referred to that ancient name in the liturgies of the Coptic Church. The significance is that the word Sophir is derived from the word Ophir. So the conclusion to all this is that Ophir, the son of Jochtan, was at least one of the ancestors of Aryans who settled in India. This assumption was made because Ophir and his descendants were the first people to migrate to the land of India. And we also know that Aryans were the first people to settle in India from other sources apart from the Bible. In addition to that, we know that both Aryans and the descendants of Ophir migrated to India through Persia, which is the present-day Iran. Hence, we are concluding that both the Ophirs and the Aryans were the same people. Also, it is interesting to know that the Hebrew Bible in fact refers the whole of India as Hodu. India was in fact mentioned twice in the Bible, that is in Esther chapter 1 and verse 1 and Esther chapter 8 and verse 9. Anyway, I hope that the information provided in this video has been a blessing to you all. It is always fascinating to learn about our ancient ancestors, isn't it? Now, let us break this video here, and when we come back, let us learn more about them. Now that we have established who the Aryans were and where did they come from, and later, let us also learn about some of their beliefs. Remember, this series is done with a lot of research and preparation. Do you know why? Because God loves you, and so do I. God bless you all. Let us meet in the next video. Thank you again for watching.